Let's learn how to build gel nails on a paper form. I'm going to use my Builder Gel Kit to sculpt this nail on a form. Last time I did this, we sculpted a nail on the practice finger. And I highly advise using a practice finger when you start. So let's say you've got the kit for a while, and now we want to put gel and build it on a form on your own nail. So that's what I've done. So I'm going to prepare my natural nail. Now, again, I can't emphasize enough, get some experience with any type of practice finger or practice hand first. And then if you're going to use it on people, do it on yourself so you can feel what it really feels like before you take it to anybody else. I'm going to prepare my natural nail with a hand file, and that's included in the kit. So I'm going to start with a medium, and I'm going to start buffing up the natural nail. And I've got this round corner here, which I absolutely love, and it's really great for getting into those little corners, pushing back the cuticles at the same time. When you're putting any type of enhancement, or even gel polish for that matter, even nail polish, you want to get rid of any type of organic matter, oils, anything like that on top of the natural nail. So I am actually buffing the surface of the natural nail and removing the shine, almost like you're kind of buffing a wall before you paint it. You wouldn't paint a wall with lots of dirt and slime and oil on it. No, you gotta buff it first. We sand the wall first. We're basically doing the same thing with your natural nail. So I'm making sure I get every little corner, and just be mindful of the cuticle all the way around. Remember, when you have a finger, there's so much clearance there. Look how, you know how that is. It's not really truthful of a natural nail. But that's what's so great. You've got 10, so you want to be able to play with this. And we want to make sure is we're not cutting in to the natural nail when we're doing this. We want to be very gentle and very careful. You can even, like I use my fingers a lot. See how I'm using my finger to pull that back? I do that when I have a client too, because when I hold their finger, I'll go like this. I'll pull it back with my fingers, right? So pull it back with your own finger, just so you can get into that very little corner. Okay, and then we got our little duster, and we just want to gently remove any excess dust that's there. Now we want to take our bridge. A bridge, remember, is that adhesion between your natural nail and the product. Without it, it might stick, but as a general rule, it won't. So if we have any lifting whatsoever, it's going to be most likely with our preparation and our adhesion. So we've got some good preparation going on here. Now the adhesion is really important. Even when you're working with acrylic or any type of adhesion for any product you're putting on, use sparingly and don't oversaturate that nail. So I'm going to pick up my bridge. I'm going to wipe it off the nail polish bottle on one side so I don't oversaturate. I have too much on my brush. And I'm going to put it on in a circular motion. And when I do that, I'm start sort of 3/4 of the way up and just gently move into the rest of the nail, like the cuticle and the sides. I'm going to get right up in there. And I'm going to pull back the skin. And I'm just massaging it all the way around. Okay, so I'm going to give it a 60-second cure. Okay, so then I'm going to get my forms. Forms, you guys, it is the best way to apply a nail. I know the tips are easier, but the forms look better. They're also stronger because you can custom shape that nail to the person's finger. It's like, tips are like we're all wearing the same shoe almost. Like that's pretty much what it's like. But forms, we got a custom shoe and it's gonna fit like a glove. Feels better for the customer too. When you're wearing a tip in comparison to a form, there's a difference. It feels different. It feels like more of a part of them rather than something that's more foreign. There's a perforated section in here. We want to break that from the inside out. Just separate that. And then when you're doing forms, like anything that's worth it, it can be a bit tricky. What we're going to do is make it as simple as possible. We're going to pinch this form. We don't have to. It can be a little bit easier to work with a form if you give it a little pinch. So I'm going to see this big dot right here as a reference for you. Pinch that so that the dot is at the top of that. And then you seal it like this. So just pinch together the end. You don't have to go all the way around to here, but just like a ½ inch or so. Just give it a nice little pinch. And then what we were doing too is seeing how the form now is kind of now rounded this way, right? The whole focus on a form. I mean, I could do a day on forms, but I just want to go through this one real quick so you have an idea of how to put a form on. This area here is going to be our focus. Just this space, basically from this line to this line and the center line. So just focus on that. And where that is going to go is right here, right? So we're going to take this area of focus and put it on this area of focus. Now a form, the idea of a form, it is to hold the product when you put it over top. Then when we remove the form, the product remains. So I like a form because it goes under the nail, whereas a tip goes on top of the nail, so it sits a little higher. That's why it's a little more natural going under the nail. So when you put this form on, the focus on the paper and the form, I'm sort of fitting them into each other. You want to give it a bit of a snuggle in there. I sort of wiggle it a little bit, just give it a little bit of a wiggle, and then press the sides. Don't worry about these little flaps. Just worry about the sides of your finger, okay? Then we want to turn it. Now we're just looking to see if this is straight. So you kind of want to do it like this and see if that line is going straight. And in this case, that line is going quite straight. So we're going to pinch this down here. Now, because we're happy with the placement of where it is, and it's angling this way nicely, it's not too straight, it's not going up, and it's not going down. We want it to just have a nice, gentle, tiniest slope. A little bit straight, but on a tiny bit of a slant. And that's what this is doing. It's perfect. So now I'm going to pinch this quite down here. I'm going to pinch it underneath a little and give it a bit of a pinch. And then I'm going to fold the sides down and try to make them a bit happy. They can stick up. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant really what they do. You're just using them to stick to the finger. Okay, so now we want to get our star of the show. Get your Suzie's glass nails. Now remember the NCE gel brush? Remember we used it last time and we conditioned it and we had a cap? See how it's still got some gel conditioned in that brush? That's exactly what we want. We don't want a hard brush. We want it nice and soft with the gel already in there. So because we took good care of it, it's in great condition to work with now. What we don't want to do is take a big blob and start building. There's a little trick you want to do. That's what you need a pro like me for. We want to get a nice thin layer on there first because gel really sticks to gel. So we get a thin layer on there first. It's going to help that big blob layer, which is your sculpting building layer, work way better for you. So we want to take a nice little tiny amount. See, it's a very small amount. And we're going to paint it on the natural nail. I'm going to get as close to the cuticle without touching any skin at all. And we don't want to make any bulk near the cuticle. Maybe just a slight, tiny little bit of thickness near the cuticle. Just a little bit. Just an ever so little bit. This is basically a layer of nail polish on top of your natural nail. Nice and thin. You can bulk it up. See, I don't know if you can see, the camera can pick this up, but see how I'm pushing the gel just a little tiny bit there. See that? That's good. The reason we want to do that, I know this sounds kind of funny, but when you put the next layer on, it's going to grab onto it and pull it back a little. So if you do it just so right, you don't have to hardly file the cuticle at all, and you can have a nice, smooth transition for that cuticle. So I'm just going to paint this on the rest of the natural nail. And you can go in here, it doesn't really matter. We just want to get it on the natural nail. That's the most important part, okay? That's a great application. What we don't want to do now is cure it. Don't nuke it. Just because it's a layer on there doesn't mean you have to nuke it. We're using that sticky layer for the next move. Now I'm going to go and get a bigger blob now. Don't mess around. Get a big one. Don't be shy. Also, don't stir that gel, right? We want to keep that gel really, really smooth and no bubbles in there, so don't stir it. Now we're going to take that big blob, see that big blob, and we're going to place it down on our nail. We're going to push toward the cuticle but it's going to grab onto that little bump you did there, and it's going to make a very smooth cuticle. And we're going to go from side to side, not losing contact. We're going to go down, side to side, not losing contact, right over top of the paper. All the way down, move nice and slow. There's no need for speed here. Nice and slow, all the way down. Okay, so I'm gonna look at that guy now and think, did I miss anything? Is he gonna good? Did I get everywhere I wanted to get? It looks pretty good. I'm gonna hold it upside down just a little second here to make the gravity work for me. That's the beauty of gel. Let that gravity work for you. That gravity is pulling everything down to create the arch. That's the ticket when we're building nails, is smooth cuticles and the proper arch. Sometimes you can take your brush, and if you feel like you're a little impatient, sometimes I get like that, I will take my brush and help me guide it just a little. Make contact, and then push it into the place where you want it to go. See if that works for you. And give a little bit of encouragement. Then take it and look at it again and see if you like it. So if you're looking down the barrel, and you can't do it too long because it'll move, but let's take a look at the whole nail now. And then once you're happy with it all, get it into the nuker as quick as you can. And you want to give this a full 60-second cure. Okay, now it's cured. We're going to take the form off. The best way to take a form off, especially with gel, because it's a bit of a softer product than acrylic, right? You want to pinch it underneath. See how it released? Pinch it underneath, pop it off, release these, and simply pull it out from under. Okay, look at that beautiful glass nail. Okay, so we want to make sure before we do any filing, put the lid on your gel. You don't want to get any bits in there. Also, too, gel seems to attract any type of floof or hair, cat hair, fibers from this, anything, right, from your clothing. It attracts it. So make sure you put the lid on it as soon as you finish working with it. And keep it upright, too. Don't leave it around like that. Keep it upright. And our gel brush, because we have the cap, make sure there's no excess on there, which there isn't. Make sure you put your cap right back on. It just ensures that every time you go to use your brush, that it's happy and totally workable and ready to work for you the way you want, right? You don't want any surprises. Okay, so now we're going to file. Now, I do recommend that you do wear a mask when filing, especially with gel. It is a softer product, and it's a bit finer, too, when you're filing. So with all products that you're filing, make sure you wear a mask. Okay, so in the kit, there is some blue lint-free, doesn't have to be blue, lint-free pads. The reason why that's really important is because if you get cotton, and I used to use them for years, they can have those little fibers. You want something that doesn't have any fibers on because, again, gel does not like any type of little hair. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a little bit of alcohol on that little pad, and we're going to remove the inhibition, the dispersion, the sticky, whatever layer you want to call it. We just want to get rid of that sticky layer. And now we're going to grab our coarse files. We've got some excellent shaping files, some of the best files I've ever used in my whole career. And what we want to do is grab the coarse, and we're going to start shaping it. Now, when I'm shaping something, I usually work on my sides first, like I get rid of these kind of rough edges, and I sort of try to determine my shape first. So I'll get under there a little bit. I think I'm going to go to match the other ones. I think I'm going to do like a nice pointy almond. That's sort of what I did when I applied it too. I put it in that shape, basically. Now, I'm not fine-tuning it, but I'm just getting the basic shape that I can work with. And I'm going to turn my nail sideways like this, being a little bit more straight up and down to my eye so I can make sure that I get it even. And I want to make sure that I'm getting it nice and straight. You can see that straight line on the side, right down from my sides. It's super important. Don't want my nail bulging out from here. So I'm going to make it go nice and straight. And then I'm going to curve into my almond shape. And I'm going to do the same with the other side. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that shape. Okay, so now I'm going to look at it down this way. Now it's kind of awkward, especially when you're doing your own. And I'm looking at it sideways. I'm looking at the arch this way. And I'm looking down the finger this way. And I'm going to take my file and I'm going to shave some off of this very delicately and shave some off of that. And it really is about the angle of the file. So when you're looking down at your nail like this, take the file. Now let me see if I can just wipe this dust off. And then you'll see exactly where I'm filing, because you'll see the kind of white frosted look, right? The file brush marks. So I'm going to file right, not so much over here. That's looking pretty good. I'm actually liking all this. But this is a little bit thick. I need to make it look very tapered coming to toward the end. See where the file's hitting? It's exactly where I want to pull out some thickness. See that? It's exactly what I want. Oh yeah, that's looking really good now. Might be really hard to see. Nice on this side, but too thick on this side. So now I just need to even those guys up to make them match. So this is the area that I'm going to file in here, and you'll start to see that frosted look. So I'm holding it flat and I'm sort of rolling over top of the whole thing. It's like rolling over it like that. See where the file marks are? See that? Not going into the apex, not going into the cuticle. See that? I'm just focusing on this area here. Now I'm just always checking like this to see if I need to go more. And I just need to go a bit more on that one side. Now I'm going to check one more time. That's looking really good. I'm liking that. So now I'm going to go over the whole thing. Now I'm going to go through the cuticle nice and slow. Remember, we did that base layer, that real thin nail polish layer, and then we put the blob on top. It created a cuticle. I barely have to work very hard at all. All I'm doing is going by it, making sure that it is smooth and it's happy and no problems. Look at that. I'm just breezing by it. You guys, if you can do your cuticles like that with gel, it is going to save you a whole headache, because cuticles are one of the hardest areas on the nail to master. And that is going to save you a lot of time and that is the learning. That is the beauty of it right there. I'm like super happy with the shape of this. Okay, so now I'm going to go down to my medium grit file. And because this doesn't take away as much and it does the more fine-tuning shaping, okay? So I'm going to go over the whole nail with this guy. Okay, so I've done all that extra fine-tuning. Now I'm going to finalize the smoothness of the free edge shape with my fine file. This file is really important because you don't want any rough edges on that free edge. So all I'm doing with this file is I'm making sure that it is nice and smooth. And then hold it up to some sort of light source and make sure that it's the shape that you're looking for. And then if you want to be a little extra picky, you could just run by the cuticle ever so gently and making sure that it is completely smooth. You can even do this little round corner if you want. And then I will go over the whole thing with my sanding sponge. And I'll just quickly go over the whole thing, just like this. Cuticle, everywhere. Except the free edge. You don't need to do the free edge. The free edge is done now. Okay, I am going to just get rid of all the dust. first nail. Look at that. Okay, and the best way to see the shape is to get a color on it. So let's put our bridge on. It's an extra adhesion for gel to adhere to the product. So let's put bridge on. Okay, so again, remember your bridge. You want to massage it on and get into all the little nooks and crannies. That's what we're going to do with this as well. If you're having any trouble with your gel polish lifting or chipping or anything off of your enhancements, use bridge. It'll change it for you. It's an excellent adhesive between the two types of products. So massage, 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 right down to the very end. Okay, and we're going to give this a full 60-second cure. Okay, in the kit you do have a gel color, one of my premium gel colors. So we're going to paint the nail. And you know, when you're putting on gel polish, here's a little tip for you. When you're putting it in the bottle, wipe half of it away off the bristles. And then when you're putting it on, don't put it up here, put it back here and slide the color in. You can get much closer that way. Get nice and close, and then you can hold your finger back again. Remember you pulling back your own finger? And get nice, use the side of that brush. It's got a nice crisp edge. And pull it right down over top. And do the same for this side. Use your finger and pull that skin right back. Use the crisp sideness of that brush. And pull it right down the side. Don't worry about how bumpy it looks or unsmooth. Don't worry about that. As far as the color goes, right? Then just try to smooth out the depths of it so you don't have lumps and clumps anywhere. Basically like that. Let it self-level just a tiny little bit, especially if you've been adding. It's not like nail polish. You don't have to hurry. You can mess around a little bit until you get what you want. And then quickly, when you're happy, put it under the light for a full 60-second cure. Okay, and then you want to do the whole thing again. Do a second coat. Once you're finished, give it another 60-second nuke. Remember, every layer of gel polish needs a 60-second full cure. Okay, now you've got your little reveal. Put a top coat on it. It really seals in the color, and it's got a sticky layer on there too, right? So you want to seal that together with a nice no-wipe top coat. The same rule applies. Wipe it off the side of the brush. Don't put it right near the cuticle, and just work your way into it. Pull the finger back again, go right down the side, down the middle, pull the finger back, and go right down the center. Make a nice smooth finish. Look at that. Ooh, it's beautiful. And then we're going to nuke it again for 60 seconds. Okay, and then you can start to look at the nail you made and feel very proud of yourself. This is your brag time. Look at that. We did a great job. And of course, you can do any shape you want. I was just doing this one. But as you get doing it, you can change it up and do whatever shape you want. And you can go longer, you can go a little bit shorter, because clients want all sorts of different ones. Now, we're not finished. We want one more step. The oil that you have in the kit, we always want to finish with a little drop of oil. So the reason why we do that is because look at the skin. Even though you wipe away the dust and stuff, see how dry it is? That's a good sign. We want it to be dry around there. That means there is no oils that is contaminating the nail as I work with it. So the dust makes it kind of dry. And like I say, that's a good sign, but we don't want it as a finished look. So we want to do a little drop of oil. That's why mine are in an eyedropper, because we don't really want to touch the brush or anything with it. We just want to drop a nice little drop right there. See that? Now, all the oil is getting right into every little crack and crevice. That's exactly what you want the oil to do. It's doing its job 100%. You can even drop a little oil if you're going to get picky, but you can see it kind of ran in there. I don't know if you can see that shininess. That's the oil. It's already run in there. So I will take my finger and just quickly give it a little wipe around the cuticle and the finger, basically to massage it in too, so it's not looking too wet. It just really gives a nice finished look. See that? All that dry cuticle is completely gone. Very good. You did an excellent job. Now you should try acrylic. Catch you in the next video.